I decided I was born to be a star, so I throwed my wife and young'un in the car and headed down to Nashville to get on that big opera show. Got my welfare peanut butter and cheese, 4 bags of diapers and a box of breeze, and I pulled up 2 days later down here on Music Road. I got in the trunk of that big Cadillac and got that new yellow Stellar out of the sack, brushed a few of them cracker crumbs off my new pinstripe suit. Scratched around that fruit jar box and got a pair of my wife's old dirty anklet socks and knocked a couple of spots off them new leopard skin boots. I put on that brand new pink western hat, kinda cocked to one side and hiked up in the back and grabbed me a mirror and practiced my Pepsodent grin. Walked in that building marked RCA. I said, "Hello, Chet, my name's Guy Drake." You know, I could tell the way he stared at me, I made impression on him. I sang Cheating Heart, Speckled Bird. Old Chet looked dumbfounded, he ain't never said a word. I said, "Say, man, you gonna cut a hit on me today?" He said, "Boy, you be sure and stay in touch, 'cause the way you sing, man, you're too much." You know, it's funny, he never did mention how well I played. Professional jealousy, I'd say. Well, I grabbed that big old Eagle Claw D, made that plow handle G and that catty corner C, and I swelled up and yodeled there for a few more bars. Chet's eyes popped out like a dying calf. He just right back there and began to laugh. I believe right there he knowed he was looking at a star. Well, for a month I've lived down here on Music Road, just kind of in and out all these big shot doors. Man, it's sure enough been a job to get with this opera bunch. Now I'm getting darn tired of sleeping out here in this car and making Kool-Aid in this ball fruit jar and eating peanut butter for breakfast, dinner, and lunch. Man, this ketchup and hot water makes awful puny soup, too. Maybe put them crackers out there on that manna bone and let them dry out. Well, it's been a mighty rough road to hoe, but man, I finally made it big on Music Row, and as far as I'm concerned, brother, I'm really doing all right. So when you turn the Opry on your TV, that good-looking fella on the stage, that's me. My job's to open the curtain here every Saturday night. Well, you gotta start somewhere, you know. You know, it's where Porter started. He went on to bigger and better things. Look at Donnie. When are you coming back? The baby's crying for you. Well, honey, we got hog needs slopping, and some wood needs chopping, and tell you the truth, honey, I kind of miss you too. Of course, you never were much sentimental. And if you was, you'd really see how I feel right now. Of course, you gotta realize gardening time's coming up pretty soon. Now really, honey, who's gonna pull that plow? Boy, fine wife you turned out here to be, leaving me for that feller Jack. Now, honey, when I come in from a long, hard day down there at the pool room, now tell me, really, who's gonna scratch my back? Oh yeah, I got that little dab of money you sent me the other day for the baby's milk. Of course, it wasn't enough though anyway. But I still think I'd run into a lot more money if my luck hadn't changed. I don't know, I just couldn't catch a good hand of poker all day today. Oh, I realize, of course, I never was much good after my operation. I guess, honey, it's probably why you left me anyway. But after all, a man, you know, got to take care of himself, 'cause after all, honey, you just don't have your tonsils took out, you know, every day. But you know, honey, if I live to be 150, save my life, honey, I'll never be able to see. How any low-down, unappreciating heifer like you, how could you ever leave a real nice feller like me? Just born to be nervous, then some they work at it real hard. Like a friend of mine that dropped by the other day and me is sitting there picking in the yard. Like he said, man, I just don't understand. Some people got a whole lot of gall. Don't you know the whole world might blow up any minute in them there liquor stores and all? There's a whole lot of misery in this old world and enough's gonna happen along. But I ain't going out looking for none. I'm gonna pick a little happy song. Showed me this little old button. Well, he'd worn for 20 years or so. Then said something about remembering Pearl Harbor and something about a Alamo. Said, I guess you done forgotten, huh? And I said, well, not exactly, no. But you come along, kind of brought it up. It slipped my mind there for a minute or so. There's a whole lot of misery in this old world, and enough's gonna happen along. But I ain't going out looking for none. I'm gonna pick a little happy song. He couldn't hardly swallow and he gnawed on them fingernails. Then he told me about how he'd been worrying about me. He said I hadn't been looking too well. Him standing there looking like death warmed over and telling me that I looking sick. Folks like him would be a whole lot better if they'd had a happy little song to pick. There's a whole lot of misery in this old world and enough's gonna happen along. But I ain't going out looking for none. I'm gonna pick a little happy song. Well, I'm just a common working man, 10 kids and a wife. Of course, to keep us all from starving to death, man, I've worked hard all my life. And when it come to loving my wife, I had quite a reputation. Man, that's changed. She sure ain't the same since she studied this sex education. I decided I'd talk to Junior and, you know, tell him all about the birds and bees. But after studying this sex education, man, you ought to hear what he told me. So I thought I'd talk to my daughter, being interested in her reputation. She just gave me a stare and said, boy, you're square and really dumb on this sex education. Well, some old lady was ringing doorbells the other night out there in our neighborhood. She invited my wife and I to lecture on this new thing called Planned Parenthood. Well, I thought I was doing pretty darn good, taking my 10 kids in consideration. Boy, she blowed her top and said, this gotta stop, boy. You need to study this sex education. Well, just last week, the preacher preached a sermon on Adam and Eve. How the man should love his wife and how the wife should please. But now what's bugging me is, where would I be? In fact, this whole generation. If Adam and Eve had forgot them birds and bees and had to study this sex education. Now, there's a lot of things that I don't understand, but I get along all right because I'm the kind of man that just don't worry too much and kind of go along with things. When somebody's worried, I'll tell them a joke, and they may not laugh, but I know most folks take a shine to me because they call me a pretty little pet name. They call me Squirrely, Bug, pretty little critter name. Pa died when I was 9 years old, and of course the insurance company paid for what we owed on that old frame house and left me and my mama plumb flat. But I worked real hard and done the best I could, but I finally chopped the darn thing into kindling wood. Me and Mama, we kind of lived and got along on that. But I got 20 cents a bushel. That ain't a bad price for an old house. Of course, I was Mama's pride and joy. I grew up tall and kind of thin and lean. Of course, I was mostly raised on pinto beans. Ma got a job because she didn't want to feel left out. And I never did go back to school. I just socialized and shot a whole lot of pool. Done a lot of bragging about Mama's new paper route. In big business for herself. She's proud of her boy. I'm Mama's pride and joy. Of course, I ain't never married. I just ain't the sort. But Ma said it ain't right when a man don't court, so I got me a gal fresh out of some high-class school. I washed my face and slicked my hair all back, and then I took her walking down this railroad track. And she looked at me and said, "Isn't those winds blue cool?" I said, "Yeah, that air's kind of chilly." She said, "That air what?" Ma loaned me 60 cents one time that paid for me and this gal of mine to go to this moving picture that she said she wanted to see. They had a popcorn machine back there in the back. Of course, it's filled up with all them little white sacks. She took one look and then turned and said to me, she said, "Don't that smell good?" I said, "Yeah. Why don't we sit back in the back where we can smell of it?" She said, "You beat all I've ever seen." Of course, I thanked her. I ain't seen her since. Must have given her a complex. Of course, I think she was really overeducated. I was underappreciated. She'd seen too much TV for a country boy like me. I'm still Mama's pride and joy.
Oh, the fickle finger of fate award goes to the man in the rear.
In the rear!
So raise your glasses high and look him in the eye and give him the fickle finger of fate award.
Here's to the nut TV ads who's getting bolder and bolder, telling about his terrible breath and that disgusting body odor. His indigestion is really serious and his nose drip is a whopper. But he comes on TV every night and he really ought to be seeing a doctor. Here's to the man who invented the pill to improve on public relations. Well, they say this feller's as smart as a whip and his pill's a big sensation. Well, they say it's selling everywhere, but that sounds kind of phony to me. Would you buy a crazy cockeyed pill you got to squeeze between your knees?
So the fickle finger of fate award goes to the man in the rear.
In the rear!
So raise your glasses high and look him in the eye and give him the fickle finger of fate award.
Here's to the man that's selling insurance to cover you from A to Z. That's babies and rabies and surgical maybes and the barrels they're thrown in free. It covers arthritis and dancing St. Bastille, lockjaw and gastritis. But you break your neck and try to collect, your policy don't cover that. Here's to the hippie with a string and hair hanging way down his behind. He's always marching for his own rights, but boy, he's tromping on mine. They say there's a generation gap and pot relieves his fears, but the only generation gap this feller's got is right square between his ears.
So the fickle finger of fate award goes to the man in the rear. So raise your glasses high and look him in the eye and give him the fickle finger of fate award.
never worked much. In fact, I've been poor all my life. I guess all I really own is 10 kids and a wife. This house that I live in is mine, but it's really a shack. But I always manage somehow to drive me a brand new Cadillac. Back door steps, they done fell plumb down. Front screen door's off and laying somewhere out there on the ground. Wind just now whooped another piece of that old tar roofing off the back. Sure hope it don't skin up that new Cadillac. Front porch post, they'll loose the bottom. It don't make no sense fix them cause that floor just too darn rotten. Wintertime we sometimes have some snow blows into the cracks. Gets too bad, we just all pile up and sleep out there in that new Cadillac. Now, I know the place ain't much, but I sure don't pay no rent. I get a check the first of every month from this here federal government. Every Wednesday I get commodities, why, sometimes 4 or 5 sacks. Pick 'em up down at the welfare office driving that new Cadillac. Now, some folks say I'm crazy, and I've even been called a fool. But my kids get free books and all them there free lunches at school. We get peanut butter and cheese, and man, they give us flour by the sacks. Of course, them welfare checks, they meet the payments on this new Cadillac. Now, the way that I see it, these other folks are fools. They're working and paying taxes just to send my young ones through school. Salvation Army cuts their hair and gives us the clothes we wear on our back, so we can dress up and ride around and show off this new Cadillac. But things still gonna get better yet, or at least that's what I understand. They tell me this new president put in a whole new poverty plan. Well, he's gonna send us poor folks money. They say we're gonna get it out here in stacks. In fact, my wife's already shopping around for her new Cadillac. These no-smoking ads are really having their day, and if you listen closely to what they say, the words no-no on tobacco and nicotine. But there's nothing said about the guy in the bar that shoots somebody or burns his car. Now, I want equal time, because they're picking on me. Of course, they don't mention that common drunk and a nose-a-lot-in as drunk as a skunk, all slopped over the wheel there and ready to fall. All the drinking in the private dens and the big hotels and the clubs and the inns. Now, how about the ratio of death by alcohol? What really makes no sense at all is that gun act Congress passed last fall. They say that you and I are not even allowed anymore to tote a gun. But it's okay to let some nut buy a quart of wine with his last buck, and of course he's liable to go crazy and shoot us all just for fun. I went to party the other night, all tucked away and private-like, and the things happened there I doubt if you've even heard of yet. Of course, they just started necking and wooing, but the things they finally wound up doing, man, it sure wasn't caused from smoking no cigarettes. Now I'm watching TV and I'm doing chain smoking, the heaving and the coughing, the gagging and choking, but there's one darn thing for sure that you'll all have to agree. I may look peaked and kind of puny and pale from smoking too many of these coughing nails, but man, I sure ain't hurting nobody but little old me. Now, I ain't kicking this establishment, and I ain't started protesting yet. Of course, I ain't carrying no signs up there in front of the United Nations. But I'm darn tired of this here no smoking plot. Now, let's talk about sex or war or pot, or I'm gonna have to start hollering discrimination. 14 doctors done said, man, I've smoked too much and I'm as good as dead, but far as I'm concerned, what they say just don't bother me. But there's one darn thing they'll have to remember come the very first day of next September. I've been smoking for 80 years, and I'll be 93. Well, I wrote a song, and it was a hit. In fact, I was so darn proud of it that I told all the folks in town what I'd done. And then every time I'd go downtown, the crowd, they just gather all around. They smile and say, "You lucky son of a gun." Well, they give me cigars. They loan me their cards. In fact, they loan me money, too. And when I'd go walking down the street, of course, all the merchants, they'd greet me with a smile, say, "Hey, boy, come on in." Then they'd load me down with all they could, and then they'd say, "Boy, your credit's good, so you hurry home and rush right on back again." Them red neckties, pretty silk suits, zippered flies. Well, it really seemed like all I had was friends. They'd give me things like setting hens, and well, even the local banker called on me. He said, "Now, son, don't you work too hard. You just sit down here and rest in my front yard." Then he gave me a credit card to the A&P. Eating high on the hog, man. Smoking filter cigarettes. Mentholated, too. Of course, I was happy with all my wealth, man. Them credit cards, there's something else. I bet I had enough of them things to fill up a sack. Of course, they're good for things like coats and shoes, and you can buy stuff to chase away the blues. In fact, I traded one for a brand new Cadillac. Electric windows, power steering, or the top even come off of it. Then a real estate man said I was a louse if I didn't buy that brand new house that he had for sale there just around the bend. So I signed my name, and he smiled at me, and then he gave me a pretty little old golden key, and he said, "Now it's yours, boy. You move right on in." Wall-to-wall made. 29 bedrooms. Boy, that's a lot of dirty sheets. Then I got this letter from this publisher, and he said, "I'm sorry for you, sir, because you thought your song was such a hit." Now, we don't like to break no hearts, but a big mistake got your song in the charts. We sure hope, boy, that you didn't go in debt. But I did. Man, I'm gonna lose face. Plus my place. If I had known about all this grief, you know I'd just stayed down there on relief. In fact, I forgot all about trying to write myself a song. It's gonna be rough, and I'll confess, but these fellas are just gonna have to repossess, and I'm going back on that welfare line where I'll feel at home. Get in them old clothes. Back of my old friends. Man, them my kind of people. I'd like to tell you folks a story about a guy that I used to know. Man, I guess he's about the slickest character you'll find this side of old Mexico. And how he done all the things he did, I don't guess I'll ever know. But politicking Pete could sell a snowball man to a freezing Eskimo. When Pete hit his 18th birthday, Uncle Sam called him that day. But being the politician that he was, man, he done figured this thing another way. He went and took his examination, bragging about doing his share. But Pete had gotten 4 of his cousins on the draft board before he ever got down there. Now, old Pete had a big old wore-out farm as poor it wouldn't grow nothing he sowed. So he got Congress to pass one of them bills that would pay him for what he didn't grow. Then the government, they built a great big lake, but thing like it never got filled. It seemed the government engineers made a slight mistake and put the lake up on top of the hill. Of course, they put it right there next to Pete's big house where he just finished digging his well. Government's lucky old Pete had water to sell. He finally went on to Washington. Of course, he still gets his share. If you don't believe it, you look at your paycheck and you'll know darn well he's been there. Man, if I could just keep all these deductions, I believe I could make ends meet. But of course, Uncle Sam, I know he's got to have it to help pay politicking Pete. He got them to build us a new interstate, run it right down our main street. Wouldn't you know that property on both sides was owned by politicking Pete? Now, I ain't saying that Pete was crooked. Maybe just a little bent. Of course, I guess that's why he fits so well up there with this federal government. Now, politicking Pete always had a motto, and it always got him through. He said, boy, you do it unto others before they do it unto you. Sun comes up, sun goes down. Hands on the clock, they just keep going round. Now just get up, it's time to lay right back down. Life sure gets tedious, don't it? My shoes untied, but I don't care. I really ain't figuring on going nowhere. I just have to wash and comb my hair. That's just wasted effort. Water in the well, it's getting lower and lower. Can't take a bath now for 6 months or more. But I've heard it said, and it's probably true, too much bathing will weaken you. I open the door and flies swarm in. Shut the door and of course I'm sweating again. I move too fast and I crack my shin. It's just one darn thing after another. Old brown mule, he must be sick. I jabbed him in the rump with a pin on the stick. He humped his back, but he didn't even kick. There's something cockeyed here somewhere. Mouse chawing on the pantry door. That fool's been there, I guess, for a month or more. Oh, when he gets through, he's sure gonna be sore. Ain't a dang thing in there. Cows gone dry and hens won't lay. Fish quit biting Saturday. Things just keep piling up here day by day. I'm even getting dandruff. Griefs and miseries and pain and woe. Debts and taxes, and so it goes. Now it seems I'm getting a cold in my nose. Life sure gets tasteless, don't it? Yeah, it's like I said, the sun goes up and the sun goes down. Hands on the clock, it just keep going around. I just get up, it's time to lay right back down. Fast going contagious, don't it?